An exciting new build announcement is coming your way today on Brickscale Studio. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we have two new build announcements. As you saw on the thumbnail, we're going to be building two exciting, huge models. One of them is the Titanic, and the other one is Generation 1 Optimus Prime. So both of these models are huge. One huge in length, one huge in height. So it's going to be pretty exciting, and there are a lot of parts and a lot of issues. So I'm super excited to get this started. So why Titanic? Why now? Well, there's several reasons. So when I realized that the DeLorean build was coming to an end and that it would end the first part of April, I decided, well, I need to find something new. So let's start checking, maybe some historical events that happen in April. Maybe there's some model opportunities there. And of course, immediately the Titanic was one of the first things I happened upon, like, oh yeah, April 15th, 1912, which is today, by the way. So that was sort of one little nudge in that direction. Plus, I already had the Titanic Lego set. I acquired that last fall. And I knew that Agora had their scale model version, so I was like, okay, I could easily get that. Also, I had recently rewatched Downton Abbey, and if you've seen that show, you know that the sinking of the Titanic basically is the kickstart for the entire first season of that series. The first 5 minutes of the very first episode, Lord Grantham receives news that his heir has perished in the Titanic disaster. So that was top of mind. Plus, I also started seeing Facebook ads for a Titanic exhibit in the city that I live in. So I'm like, okay, maybe the universe is pointing me in this direction. So I decided to go forward with a Titanic build. Interesting, doing some research, like one of the things I asked myself was, yes, of course, I always wanted to do the Titanic Lego set, but why are we still interested in this ship like 113 years later? Like, it sank 113 years ago today. Why are we still obsessing about it? Like, why are there... I mean, there's an exhibit in my town right now. Plus, there's permanent exhibits in Las Vegas and Orlando. There's other exhibits in Boston and Jersey City. And it's, like I said, 113 years later. So one of the things that was kind of interesting on Wikipedia, they sort of listed, there were like 4 major waves of public interest in Titanic. The first one being the actual sinking of the Titanic, although that kind of ended abruptly when World War I started. So obviously that was a much bigger deal and a more immediate concern for most people. A second wave came in 1955 with the publication of Walter Lord's book, A Night to Remember. And then probably the biggest one was in 1985 when the wreckage was discovered by Robert Ballard. And it's amazing that from 1912 to 1985, nobody knew where the Titanic the wreckage was. We hadn't seen it or anything. So he found it in 1985. And then, of course, in about 10 years later, the James Cameron movie came out, and that was a huge success. It was everywhere in 1997, plus the Celine Dion song. You couldn't really go anywhere without Titanic, Titanic, Titanic. And then probably the last wave was in January of 2012, just a few months before the 100th anniversary of the sinking. That cruise ship The Costa Concordia capsized after hitting some rocks off the coast of Italy. I'm not sure if you remember that, but I do. And that resulted in 32 deaths. And it was sort of another like huge ship that was supposed to be, you know, not sinkable, and it hit some rocks and it literally like flipped over. So that was in the news, and that again, that was just a few months before the 100th anniversary of Titanic. So it was, you know, pretty interesting. So I guess things just keep happening to keep it in the sort of atmosphere, and we always are fascinated by it. So speaking of the exhibition, so I went to the one here in Dallas, and it was an interesting experience. I wouldn't say that the exhibit was all that like authentic. There really weren't much actual Titanic artifacts. A lot of the artifacts that they had were from other White Star Line ships that would have also been the same as the Titanic, like dishes and that kind of thing. Like basically the White Star Line had dishes and coffee cups and tea sets and that kind of thing that they used on all their ships. So a lot of the artifacts were from the Olympic, which was sort of Titanic's sister ship. So very little actual artifacts. But here are some pictures. Like one of the cool things was you got this boarding pass when you went in, and it had the name of a passenger on it, and it told a little bit about them. And then at the end of the exhibit, there was a wall, and you could find the name of the passenger you got and see if they survived or not. Spoiler alert, my passenger did not survive, even though he was first class, but he did not survive. And then here's some other just pictures of artifacts. There's some dishes, which again are not actually from the Titanic. They're from the White Star Line itself. And then here's a life jacket. Again, not from the actual Titanic. They did have a really cool model when you first walked in. That was actually, it was a Titanic model that was restored by the International Plastic Modelers Society North Central Texas Club. So that was kind of cool, the little local connection. And then there was this bell that was, apparently this may have been from the Titanic. And then they recreated some interiors. This is the, like sort of one of the like lounge areas, or one of the first cabin parlor suites. So it was kind of cool. But again, like I said, it was a neat experience kind of walking through it. They had kind of a wall of ice and some stuff like that. So it was neat experience, but like I said, not a lot of actual artifacts from the Titanic. So let's take a look at, so this is a video from the Agora Models website. This is sort of their like advertisement for the model. So let's take a look at that. So very cool, very cool. Also, here's another little video showing the motor that runs the propellers. So very cool. And then let's take a look at a couple of pictures from the LEGO website. The LEGO model comes apart in 3 sections, and there's sort of a cross section. You can see the different decks and everything. And then there is a motor that does come out, and it will actually, you can turn a little crank and it will turn the propellers. So very cool. It's not motorized, but you can do it manually. And then let's just take a quick look sort of at some statistics here. So the interesting thing with the DeLorean and the Batmobile, those builds, the scale model has been quite a bit larger than the Lego version. And in the case of Titanic, they're pretty equal. The Agora Models version is 52 3/4 inches, and the Lego version is 53 inches. So actually the Lego version is 1/4 of an inch longer than the Agora Models version. But then as far as piece count, apparently the Agora Models has approximately 1,800 pieces, and the Lego model has 9,090 pieces. So quite a difference there. But it'll be interesting to see. They should be pretty much the same size. So that is very cool. So that one we are going to kick off this week on Thursday. So be sure to check out the first episode of that. And then the other new build that we are going to be doing is Optimus Prime. So Lego had an Optimus Prime 2022, I believe. And of course I got that because I am a huge Transformers fan. I mean, there's no like the Titanic with everything sort of lining up. There's no cosmic lineup for Optimus Prime. I just grew up in the 80s and have loved the Transformers ever since. And so, of course, I had already gotten the Lego version back in 2022 and built it like way before I started this YouTube channel. And then, of course, last summer, they came out with Bumblebee, which I built, and there's a video on the channel about that. Also, earlier this month, they came out with two new brickheads, one for Optimus Prime and one for Bumblebee. So very cool there. I have those. I have not built them yet. So very cool there. Also, of course, this has not been confirmed, but I watched a video on YouTube the other day, and they said that this summer, like in August, I think they said, we are supposed to be getting another Transformer set from Lego. Of course, so far, we don't know what it is, but this video, they said that the piece count will be similar to that of Optimus Prime. So that means it's going to be a bigger Transformer, because Bumblebee was relatively small compared to Optimus Prime. So the speculation is that it's either going to be Megatron or Soundwave. Now, if you're familiar with Gen 1 Transformers, in that cartoon or animated series and the toys, Megatron was a gun, like a handheld gun. Yeah, I'm not sure how they would translate that into a Lego set, especially because the Lego sets transform. So, like, for example, obviously the Optimus Prime, you can make the robot or you can make the semi. With the Lego, like the Lego actually transforms. You don't have to take it apart and rebuild it in the different versions. You can transform it just like the regular Transformer toys. Same thing with Bumblebee. So to do that for Megatron to be like this handheld gun thing, I just don't know how that would work out. So I'm hoping that it is Soundwave. That would be easy to build a robot that transforms into a cassette player. Like, that seems super easy. Also, it would be very cool to get the little cassettes. Like, would they give us any? Would they give us one? Would they give us two? Would they give us three? Like, Laserbeak for sure would be cool. Ravage would be cool. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully that pans out. And of course, I will be there on release day to get that because I love Transformers. So let's take a look at this short advertisement video on the Optimus Prime model from Agora Models.
The Autobots need your help to defeat the Decepticons. Hero till the end.
Wow, very cool, very cool. And then here are some pictures of the Lego version. Like I said, the Lego version does transform, so you can see how it kind of goes from robot to truck. So unlike the Titanic, where the models are going to be about the same size, Optimus Prime goes back to how the DeLorean and the Batmobile are, where the model is much bigger than the LEGO version. So the LEGO version is only 13 and a half inches tall, and but the Agora Models version is 31 inches tall. Yeah, 31 inches tall. So more than double the height of the LEGO version. So it's going to be quite big. And actually seeing a couple other YouTuber videos about it, it's kind of like as big as a toddler. Like, it's pretty big. And so the scale model does not transform. You just get Optimus Prime in robot form. It does not transform, but it is poseable, and very highly poseable. There's a lot of points of articulation, so you can put it in a bunch of different poses. In fact, Agora, when we get to that stage in the model, when we get done, they published a whole video just on posing Optimus Prime into various different poses. And so, yeah, I mean, you can make it look however you want pose-wise, but again, it does not transform. Basically, how the builds are going to go, it's just like we've been doing with the DeLorean and the Batmobile. It'll follow the same format. For the Titanic, we will do 2 issues per episode and do 15 Lego steps per episode for Titanic. And for Optimus Prime, so Optimus Prime is a little bit different. Unlike the DeLorean, the Batmobile, and Titanic, where we get the build split out into issues. So each issue has a magazine with instructions and information about the model, or about Batman himself, or Back to the Future the movie, etc. The Optimus Prime movie is not like that. It just comes in 12 part packs, and then there are downloadable PDF instructions for each pack. So it's not like readily split up like the other ones are. So I can't say like, oh, we're going to be doing 2 issues of Optimus Prime per episode, because there are no issues. And some of the parts packs there's a lot in there, so I'll be splitting them up. Some of them, it makes sense to just do the entire part pack. So I think there's 12 part packs, but I believe that I'll be splitting it up into about 24 episodes. So again, like I said, some parts packs will be 1 entire episode of just that parts pack. Another parts pack might get split up into 2 different episodes or 3 different episodes. So it will just depend. And then we'll be doing, 24 episodes and 20 Lego steps per episode. So yeah, 24 episodes for Optimus Prime. And like I said, it'll follow the same sort of format as the other builds that we are doing, the Batmobile, and, well, right now it'll just be the Batmobile because the DeLorean is done. So we'll do 4 issues, or 4 episodes, and then we'll kind of have a little recap episode to catch you up. So again, I hope you're excited about this, because I am. These are 2 intellectual properties, I guess, like Transformers more so than Titanic, Titanic being an historic model. But these are 2 models that I have really been looking forward to, especially, like I said, ever since the LEGO Titanic came out, I have wanted it, and it has been super popular for LEGO. I think you couldn't even get it, like the first couple of months it was out of stock, and then now it's like continuously on back order, pretty much. Like, it's just always on back order. So it's very popular, and it's rarely available. Like, I check my my local store inventory. Well, before I got it, I was checking, a couple times a month, and it was they never had it in the store. And like I said, it's always back ordered online, but I finally pulled the plug last fall. They had a double points weekend, so I figured, you know what, let's just do it. So I got it. And then, of course, the Optimus Prime, like I said, I already had the Lego set, but that Agora model, wow, it's super impressive. And the more I watched about it, the more I read about it, I was like, oh, I have to do this, because Gen 1 Transformers is so cool. So anyway, like I said, I hope you're excited as I am. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, now is a great opportunity. And be sure to hit that bell notification so that you don't miss when these episodes are published. So Titanic starts this Thursday, and then Optimus Prime starts on Tuesday. And then going forward, we will have Optimus Prime on Tuesday, Titanic on Thursday, Batmobile on Saturday, and then in between, whenever the new LEGO Transformers comes out or other new sets come out, we'll throw those in there when we encounter them. The most recent one coming up that I'm looking forward to is that LEGO Ideas Riverboat Steamer. That looks like a really cool set. And that comes out here in just a couple weeks. So I'm super excited to get my hands on that. So as soon as that comes out, we'll do a video on it, and that'll get thrown in somewhere in there. So again, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, like, what are you most excited for, the Titanic or Optimus Prime? And until we see each other again, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon.